Good morning, class. Welcome to the live online classes. Today I'm going to continue with class 7, chapter 6, weathering and soil formation. We are doing part 2, where we are going to study about weathering. Now I have written here our earth crust, our earth surface, okay, is continuously undergoing changes as a result of various processes. These two processes are known as internal and external. We have learnt about it in the previous class also, in class 6 also. What are internal forces? They are known as endogenic forces, whereas external forces are known as exogenic forces, which is basically involved in making and shaping landforms. While internal process like tectonic movement, so internal means inside the earth, so it is known as endogenic, okay, endogenic. So this internal process or force is involved inside the earth. So it involves processes like tectonic movement. So we are talking of the shifting of the plates. We are talking of the seven, okay, what we call large-scale plates that move due to earthquakes, volcanic eruption, okay? And this volcanic eruption happens when our Earth's internal matter gets heated up. So, while internal processes like tectonic movements lead to the formation of various landforms. It might lead to the formation of block mountains, fold mountains, okay, as well as plateaus, valleys, etc. External forces are those forces which basically, okay, what we call, okay, removes the irregular shape of the land. And they are both constructive and destructive. So whenever I'm talking about, okay, external forces, they are both constructive. Constructive means positive, which basically creates the land, as well as they are also, okay, destructive. Now destructive means negative. They damage the lands also. So when we are talking about weathering, these are the forces which are working simultaneously, okay, and in this constructive and destructive, okay, forces, what you find is denudation. Now agent of denudation or agent of change like wind, water, which is found outside the surface of the earth, which basically shapes the irregular shape of the land, as well as deposition is basically found in this, okay, external force. Now deposition means, okay, once the material has been removed, okay, it has to be deposited somewhere, and it is done by deposition. This force also, okay, falls in the category of external forces. So they bring about great diversity or variety in present-day landforms. If we go outside also, you see plains, plateaus, mountains, valleys, hills, etc. These are all formed by these two main processes, which are basically acting from the past, from millions of years ago. So they are basically agent of change or erosion, okay? So erosion also comes in this category. Erosion also comes in this category, which is also known as the agent of change, which is working continuously in order to make landforms. New landforms are getting created, okay? Even today, in the present day, okay? Today, just now it is raining, so some of the lands are being remodeled, recreated, or reshaped, or rearranged, okay? So sediments are carried over distances and are deposited in new places. So sediments are basically deposited. What are sediments? Sediments are brought down by the rivers, which gets deposited in a new place. In other words, the earth's surface is remodeled. So the earth's surface is remodeled. This endogenic force creates mountains, but the shape of the mountain is made by the external forces. So this is actually weathering, okay? So let's learn the definition of weathering in detail. Now, if you look at weathering, weathering is a static process. S-T-A-T-I-C. Static process. P-R-O-C-E-S-S. Process. Now, it's a static process means motionless. Now, you have studied motion, I think so. Okay. So, it's motionless or a still process. Okay. Inactive process. That involves the crumbling down. Okay. So, weathering is a static process. Okay. That involves, I-N-V-O-L-V-E-S, involves, okay, the crumbling down. So, whenever I am talking about the crumbling down, I am writing it on the blackboard so that you can understand, okay, distinctly, okay. Crumbling down or disintegration. So, disintegration, disintegration. Now, crumbling means, okay, crumbling here means falling apart. Disintegration means breaking into parts. Remember that. As well as decomposition. Now, you have studied decomposition in biology, I think so. What is decomposition? It is rotting of the matter or decay, or it is also known as disintegration in geography. Okay, so these are the three things that, okay, basically associates with weathering. Okay. So, crumbling down or disintegration or decomposition of rocks. So, it is basically breaking the rocks. And which things are breaking the rocks? Basically, the mass of the rocks, the outer covering of the rocks. Which things are okay, basically involved, okay, due to the action of, okay, different elements, but I am writing only elements here, okay, of different elements such as rain. Now, rain is that, it's raining today also, okay, rain is the form of, okay, what we call weathering, okay, frost. Now, frost, okay, frost means weather cold enough to freeze, okay. Now, frost plays a vital role, okay, in basically breaking the big rocks into two parts. Okay, we'll study about that later. And even wind. Wind plays a vital role, okay, in taking the metal from one place to another, and even in drying the clothes, and even the sun, okay. Now, and fluctuation in temperature. U-C-T-U-A. Now, whenever we are talking about fluctuation in temperature, whenever I am talking about temperature, temperature means the degree of hotness and coldness of the atmosphere. So, if there is a fluctuation in the temperature, what will happen? There will be expansion and contraction during the daily diurnal range of temperature. And this, okay, change of temperature also affects the, okay, weathering of the rocks. So, this weathering basically occurs in situ, okay. It basically occurs in, now remember this because it's not in your book, okay. So, S-I-T-U, situ. Situ means the original place of the rocks where the rock is, okay, basically found, okay. Which means at the place where the rock lies. Once the rock has been weathered and broken up by weathering, once the rock is broken up by the agents of weathering, what will happen? It is ready for erosion. It is ready for erosion. Once the rock has been broken away, now which agents basically takes the place? Erosion takes the place, okay? Now, erosion takes the place, and another thing I want to tell you, erosion happens when rock and sediments are picked up and moved to another place by ice. So when erosion takes the place after breaking of the rocks, what happens? Erosion basically, okay, transfers the material and deposits it in another place. So erosion happens when rock and sediments are picked up by the wind, water, ice, etc. and moved to another place. So it might be gravity also, it might be water also, it might be ice also, it might be wind also, which plays a vital role in transporting the weathered rocks or the broken rocks from one place to another. And even souls are carried from one place to another. Okay. The second, okay, topic that we are going to discuss is erosion after weathering. Now we are moving on to erosion. Now erosion means eating away. Okay. Now erosion on the other hand means wearing away. Now we have already discussed this one. Wearing away means eating away, or denudation. D-E-N-U-D-A-T-I-O-N, denudation. Now these two words you have to remember. In erosion you have wearing away and denudation. Denudation means removal of the outer covering of the rocks. Like if you look at an onion has got, okay, what we call layers. If you remove one layer, then another layer, what will happen to the onion? Onion will become smaller in size, or it reduces in size. Likewise only, rocks also reduces in size because of the denudation. Okay? Denudation of rocks. And transportation. So another main important point that we come across is transportation. So erosion basically plays a vital role in transporting the broken rocks and soil from one place to another. So another important point that we come across in the definition is transportation. And finally, deposition. Deposition of rock sediments. Now sediments are basically matters brought by the running rivers from the mountains. Okay, so the sediments are brought by water. Water is an agent of denudation. So it is one form of erosion. Okay, by natural agents. So they are brought by natural agents. Okay, what are the natural agents? Running water. So you can see running water is that. Another one is wind. Another one is glaciers. Now you can note it down, okay, in your rough copy, etc. And waves. So you can see here that wearing away or denudation of rocks, the outer covering of the rocks is basically transported and finally deposited to another place by natural agents like running water, wind, glaciers, and waves also. Okay. Erosion is thus a dynamic process. So it is a dynamic process. Dynamic means it has got force. It has got force or action. It basically exerts pressure, okay, force. Erosion will often occur after the rocks has been disintegrated or altered through weathering. So when weathering takes place, then only erosion takes place. The rocks has to be broken, then only it can be transported. Okay, remember that. Now, I am rubbing the blackboard here. Two major processes which are responsible. So we are talking about two processes or two major processes, okay, which are responsible for the shaping of the earth, landforms, and bringing about change on its surface. You see mountains, valleys, plateaus, etc. These are basically by two processes. These two processes are known as, okay, degradation. D-E-G-R-A-D-A-T-I-O-N. Degradation, number one. Number two is, okay, aggradation. A-G-G-R-A-D-A-T-I-O-N. Aggradation. Now, aggradation and degradation basically, okay, are together referred to as gradations. So they are known as gradation. G-R-A-D-A-T-I-O-N. Gradation. You can write in capital letter also in this one. Gradation, okay. They act simultaneously, side by side, and maintain balance on the Earth's surface. So this force is the force which maintains and remodels the Earth. Degradation means, now remember that. Now I am writing about degradation only. So I am just going to rub this one only. Okay. So I am going to giving the definition of degradation. Okay. Degradation means lowering of the relief. Now, whenever I am talking about the relief, I am talking about the height of the surface of the earth, okay? height of the Earth's surface are basically remodeled by degradation, okay, due to REMOVL, removal of rocks. Now, and other materials, 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 responsible for the formation of land. So, which forces are involved in, degradation? It is weathering and erosion. Remember that. So, you can understand now. Now, I am doing aggradation. The second point is aggradation. 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 Okay? Aggradation means the raising. So that time it was lowering of the height. Now it is the raising. Raising means the raising or increase of the land of the Earth's surface. At a certain place due to the deposition of sediments. So the main process involved here is deposition. So when the matter gets deposited, it increases the height of a certain natural, what we call physical features of the Earth. Okay. Now the third. So degradation plus aggradation together means gradation. What is gradation? Now gradation. 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 Now another one, third one. This is the second one, okay? Gradation is the process. Of leveling of the land. So basically it levels the land. It makes the land, irregular land, regular. Or it may basically maintain, remodels the earth, okay? So, by means of natural agents. Now, whenever we are talking about natural agents, now you understand what are the natural agents of the earth. They are rivers. They are groundwater. Now, underground water. And another one is known as, wind, glaciers. GLACIERS, glaciers. Now, ERS, glaciers. And sea waves. Now, gradation means remodeling. Remember that. It means remodeling. It reconstructs the land, it reforges the land, as well as it rebuilds the land. With this, I've finished, weathering, little bit, So next time, I'll be doing factors affecting the process of weathering. Thank you for listening. Hope you find this lesson useful.